200 people lifted their glasses. Crystal caught the light. My husband stood at the microphone, eyes shining, about to call me his rock. And I knew exactly who he was really thinking about. She was sitting at table 7. Blue dress, pearl earrings, smiling like she belonged there. Hello, my name is Vivian. I'm 63 years old, and I live in Greenwich, Connecticut. This is the story of how I destroyed my husband's perfect anniversary party. On purpose. But before I tell you what happened that night, I need to take you back. 3 months earlier, an ordinary Tuesday morning in April. I was late for my volunteer shift at the hospital library. I'd been shelving books there for 15 years. It gave me purpose after the kids moved out. Emma went to Seattle. Michael settled in Boston. The house got quiet. I needed somewhere to be. That morning, I was hunting for my reading glasses. Kitchen counter, nightstand, bathroom sink, nothing. Then I remembered. I'd left them in Richard's study the night before. His study was his space. Mahogany desk, leather chair molded to his shape. He's a commercial real estate attorney. Successful, respected. The kind of man people trust with their buildings and their money. My glasses sat next to his laptop. The screen was dark. When my elbow brushed the mouse, it lit up. I should have looked away. His email was open. One message sat at the top. Unread. Timestamped 11:43 p.m. That was after he'd kissed my forehead and said, "Just finishing up some work, sweetheart." The sender was Jennifer Collins, his secretary of 12 years. I knew her. We'd chatted at office parties. She made excellent cookies, married to a man named Daniel. They had a golden retriever. The subject line said, "Counting down." My hand moved before my brain caught up. I clicked. "My dear R, I'm counting the hours until I see you again. Last night was everything. I still feel you with me. Same place, same time tomorrow. I can't wait to get lost in you again. Always, J." The words blurred, not from the screen, from tears I couldn't blink away fast enough. I took photos with my phone. My hands shook so badly the first 3 came out blurred. I moved the mouse back exactly where it had been. Let the screen go dark. I didn't go to the hospital that day. Instead, I drove to the beach where Richard proposed in 1985. I was 23. He was 25. Down on one knee in the sand while the sun melted into the water. We were so certain. Love and hard work could fix anything. We were right, in a way. We just never discussed what happens when only one person keeps working. I sat on that sand for hours, replaying everything. 2 kids, 30 years of mortgage payments. The night Michael had emergency surgery and Richard held me so tight in the waiting room I could barely breathe. How he handled everything when my mother died because I could barely function. And now this. My phone buzzed. Richard. First call. Second. Third. On the 4th, I answered. "Viv, where are you?" The volunteer coordinator called. "Are you okay?" His voice was warm, concerned, familiar. "I'm fine," I said. "Just needed some air." "You sure? I can come home early if." "No, stay at work. I know how busy you are." When I hung up, I made a decision. I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to confront him. Not yet. Not until I knew exactly how deep this went. That night, he came home at 6. Brought tulips. "My favorite. Thought of you when I saw these," he said. I cooked his favorite dinner. Pot roast. Roasted vegetables. He talked about work. Mentioned how Jennifer saved him from a scheduling disaster. She's been such a rock for me at the office, he said, sipping his wine. Don't know what I'd do without her. I smiled. Steady. Calm. She does seem devoted, I said. Maybe we should have her and Daniel over sometime. His fork paused. Just for a second. That's a nice idea, he said. I'll mention it. He never did. After he fell asleep that night, I lay awake in the dark. 40 years of marriage beside me. His breathing steady. Peaceful. I thought about the woman I'd been. The girl who believed in forever. The mother who built a home. The wife who trusted completely. I thought about who I might become. The next morning, Richard left for work at 7:30. Kissed my cheek. Said he'd be home around 6. I watched his car disappear around the corner. Then I walked into his study and opened his laptop. At 63 years old, I became a spy in my own marriage. And I was going to find out everything. His password was our house number combined with his father's birthday. He'd told me that trick years ago. For important codes, he said. Funny how the small things come back to haunt us. The laptop opened. His email filled the screen. I had maybe 3 hours before my usual errands would be done. 3 hours to find out if that email was a mistake or a pattern. It wasn't a mistake. I went through everything. Deleted emails that weren't really deleted. Folders with boring names that hid hotel reservations. Restaurant receipts for places I'd never been. 18 months. 18 months of, I miss you, and, I need you. 18 months of room 417 at the Harbor Inn in Stamford. Every other Thursday. Like clockwork. There were photos too. I won't describe them. Some things you can't unsee. One email made my stomach turn. Jennifer to Richard, from 6 months earlier. D is getting suspicious. He asked why I'm always working late. I told him we're prepping for the Mason deal. I think he believed me. But we should be careful. I don't want to lose what we have. D. Daniel. Her husband. Another man living in a house full of lies he never agreed to. I copied everything onto a thumb drive. Hid it in my sewing kit under the bathroom sink. Richard would never look there. That night, he brought me roses. You seem quiet, he said at dinner. Just tired, I said. You work too hard at that library, he said. Maybe take a break? I almost laughed. For 2 weeks, I carried that thumb drive everywhere. Couldn't let it out of my sight. Couldn't decide what to do with it. Confront him? He'd deny it. Twist it. Make me feel crazy. Call a lawyer? Maybe. But something else nagged at me. Daniel Collins. The other spouse. The other person being lied to every single day. Did he deserve to know? I found him on LinkedIn. Financial analyst at Sterling Capital in Stamford. Professional photo. Nice smile. No idea his wife was sleeping with her boss. I wrote the email 6 times before sending it. Dear Mr. Collins, you don't know me. My name is Vivian Hart. My husband Richard is an attorney at Bellamy & Co. I believe we need to discuss something important regarding our spouses. This is about truth, nothing else. If you're willing to meet, I'll share what I have. You choose the time and place. His reply came 3 hours later. Mrs. Hart, your email concerns me greatly. Tomorrow at 4 p.m. Starbucks on Bedford Street in Stamford. I'll be in a navy suit with a silver tie. Daniel Collins. I got there 15 minutes early. Ordered coffee I never touched. At exactly 4, a tall man walked in. Navy suit, silver tie, eyes scanning the room like someone expecting bad news. Mr. Collins? Daniel, please. He sat down, smoothed his tie. Your email sounded serious. It is, I said. I don't know how to say this gently. So I'll just say it. I took a breath. Your wife and my husband have been having an affair. At least 18 months. I have proof. The color drained from his face. His jaw clenched tight. Show me. I'd brought my tablet. Loaded some emails. Hotel reservations. Not the explicit photos. Pain doesn't need to be pornographic. He read in silence. His hand started shaking halfway through. When he finished, he set the tablet down carefully. Like it might explode. 18 months, he said quietly. I asked her about the late nights. She called me paranoid. Said I didn't trust her. I'm sorry, I said. Truly. He looked up, eyes red-rimmed. Why tell me? You could have divorced him quietly. No one would know. Because they're both coming to our anniversary party, I said. Richard's planning a big celebration. 40 years. Jennifer RSVP'd yes. With a +1. Me, he said. You. He gave a short, bitter laugh. Of course. What better cover than the devoted husband at the boss's party? I'm done covering for them, I said. I want to expose this. In front of everyone who helped them pretend. And I think I could use your help. He stared at me for a long moment. I watched his grief transform into something else. Not just pain. Purpose. What did you have in mind? He asked. So I told him. The party. The speeches. The champagne. Richard's toast to his rock. And then, at the height of it all, I would stand up and introduce everyone to his other rock. He didn't hesitate. It's brutal, he said. But they've earned brutal. He pulled out his phone. When's the party? June 15th. 7 p.m. Bayridge Manor. He typed it in. She already told me about it, he said. Said we should go to support her boss. I thought she was being ambitious. He looked at me. Turns out she wanted to parade our marriage in front of his. Will you come? I asked. Will you play along until I give the signal? Vivian, he said, his voice suddenly steady. I'll do more than that. I'll help you burn down the fantasy they built on our backs. We exchanged numbers, agreed on what we'd say, what we wouldn't. Driving home, I felt something strange. For the first time since that Tuesday morning, it wasn't just grief. It was power. But power has weight. That night, lying awake beside Richard's sleeping form, doubt crept in. Was I doing the right thing? Public humiliation. Our children watching. Friends. Family. Was revenge worth the wreckage? Richard shifted in his sleep. Murmured something. Smiled. I wondered if he was dreaming about her. The doubt vanished. 6 weeks until the party. 6 weeks to plan the unraveling of 40 years. I was ready. 6 weeks to pretend everything was fine. 6 weeks of smiling at breakfast. Kissing his cheek goodbye. Asking about his day like I cared. I became an actress in my own home. Richard threw himself into party planning. Caterers. Florists. Band selections. He wanted everything perfect. 40 years deserves a real celebration, he kept saying. I agreed with everything. Nodded at color swatches. Approved the menu. Smiled when he showed me invitation samples. Bayridge Manor overlooking the water, he said one night. Remember? That's where we had our first real anniversary dinner. I remember, I said. I remembered a lot of things now. The party became his obsession. Guest list grew to 200. Partners from the firm, old college friends, neighbors, family from both sides, and Jennifer Collins. +1. I checked his email daily. He'd gotten careless. Or maybe just confident. "Can't wait to see you in that blue dress," he wrote her. "It'll be torture being so close and not touching you," she replied. I screenshot everything. Daniel and I texted regularly. Short. Careful. "She bought new shoes for the party," he wrote once. "He bought champagne glasses. Crystal. Expensive," I replied. "Mine too. We were building our case together. Two strangers united by betrayal." 3 weeks before the party, Richard's mother fell in Massachusetts. Broke her hip. He drove up immediately. "I'll come with you," I offered. "No, stay here. Handle the party details. I'll be back Friday." After he left, I checked his laptop. Sitting open on his desk. He'd forgotten to log out. One email. Sent that morning. "With Mom's surgery and Viv busy with party stuff, I won't see you until Saturday." It's torture. Counting down to that blue dress. "You'll be the most beautiful woman in the room. The most beautiful woman in the room." At our anniversary party, I forwarded it to Daniel. His reply, "Can't wait for Saturday either." The week before the party, Emma called from Seattle. "Mom, I'm so excited. Michael and I are both flying in. We want to make speeches." My heart seized. "Speeches? About you and Dad, your marriage, what it's meant to us growing up." I gripped the phone tighter. "That's sweet, honey. You guys are our role models," she said. 40 years and still so solid. "I hope I find what you have someday." I almost told her then. Almost said, "Don't come. Don't watch what I'm about to do." But I didn't. "We'll see you Friday," I said instead. That night, I sat alone in the living room. Lights off. Just the glow from street lamps outside. What was I doing? Emma and Michael would witness their father's humiliation. Their family's destruction. In public. In front of everyone. Was I protecting them? Or punishing their father through them? I picked up my phone. Started typing a message to Daniel. Maybe we should call this off. Maybe I should just file for divorce quietly. Spare everyone the. I stopped. Deleted it. A quiet divorce meant Richard could spin it however he wanted. We grew apart. It was mutual. These things happen. No, he didn't get to rewrite this story. Not after 18 months of lies. Not after looking me in the eyes every single night while living a double life. Friday night. Richard came home tired. Kissed my cheek. "Mom's doing better," he said. "She's tough. Like you," I said. He smiled. "Like us," he corrected. We sat on the couch. His arm around me. Like old times. 40 years tomorrow, Viv," he said softly. "Can you believe it?" "No," I said. "I really can't. I've been thinking about my speech," he said. "What I want to say." "Oh? About rocks," he said. "How marriage needs a rock. Someone steady. Someone you can count on." I felt my jaw tighten. "That's beautiful," I said. "You've been my rock," he said. Through everything. I wanted to laugh. Or scream. Or both. Instead, I patted his hand. "Get some sleep," I said. "Big day tomorrow." He kissed my forehead. Went upstairs. I stayed on the couch. Tomorrow I would stand in front of 200 people and destroy everything he'd built. Everything we'd built. Tomorrow my children would learn their parents' marriage was a lie. Tomorrow Jennifer Collins would see her secret exposed under crystal chandeliers. Tomorrow Daniel Collins and I would stop pretending. My phone buzzed. Daniel, ready? I typed back, ready. Then I added, no turning back. His response, they didn't give us that option either. I turned off the phone. Sat in the darkness. Breathed. Tomorrow wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about truth. And truth, I was learning, doesn't care about collateral damage. The sky was pink and gold when we arrived at Bayridge Manor. White roses lined the walkway. Candles flickered on every table. The band was already playing soft jazz. Perfect. Everything Richard wanted. Emma hugged me tight. You look beautiful, Mom. So do you, sweetheart. Michael took photos. Posted them online. 40 years of love, he captioned. I smiled for every camera. Guests arrived in waves. Neighbors. Friends. Richard's law partners. Then I saw her. Jennifer walked in wearing that blue dress. Sapphire. Fitted. The one he'd been waiting for. Daniel was beside her. Face unreadable. Vivian, Jennifer said, air kissing near my cheek. Everything is stunning. Congratulations. Thank you for coming, I said. You're at table 7, right near the front. Something flickered in her eyes. Then gone. How thoughtful, she said. Dinner was served. Prime rib. Salmon. Wine flowed. Richard worked the room. Shaking hands. Accepting congratulations. Beaming. I watched Jennifer. She played her part well. Attentive wife. Supportive secretary. Polite smiles. But every few minutes, her eyes found Richard. That private smile. Her hand touching the silver necklace at her throat. I wondered who paid for it. 9 o'clock. The bandleader tapped the microphone. Ladies and gentlemen, time for some toasts. Richard's brother spoke first. College stories. Laughter. My sister Carol shared memories from our wedding day. Then Emma and Michael. Together at the microphone. Growing up, Emma said, we watched Mom and Dad every day. They were a team. Always. Michael nodded. They showed us what marriage looks like. Real marriage. Commitment. My throat tightened. They had no idea. Then Richard stood. Straightened his jacket. Raised his glass. The room went quiet. 40 years ago, he began, I married the girl I met in a crowded cafeteria. Somehow she agreed to build a life with me. He turned toward me, eyes shining. People ask me the secret, he continued. I always say the same thing. You need a rock. Someone steady. Someone who stands by you when things are hard. He lifted his glass higher. Vivian, you've been my rock. So tonight, I want to toast. I stood up. My chair scraped loudly against the floor. 200 heads turned. That's very sweet, Richard, I said. But before everyone drinks, I'd like to add something. His smile faltered. Viv, this isn't planned? I know. I faced the crowd. My husband is right. Marriage takes dedication, commitment, honesty. I let that word hang. And since we're toasting truth tonight, I'd like to invite someone else to stand. I looked at table 7. Jennifer Collins, Richard's secretary, and for 18 months, his second rock. Jennifer, would you please stand? Gasps. Whispers exploded. Jennifer didn't move. Come on, Jennifer, I said. You're not shy in your emails. Richard's face went white. Vivian, he hissed. What the hell are you doing? Telling the truth. I pulled out my phone. Found the screenshot. Let me share something. From last week. I read aloud. My dear R. Last night in room 417 was perfect. I can't wait until we can stop hiding. You are my home now. Silence. Then chaos. Emma stood up. Tears streaming. Mom. What is this? Michael stared at his father. Face frozen. Jennifer finally rose. Blue dress glowing under the chandelier. Mrs. Hart, she started. You're clearly upset. This isn't. Sit down, Jen, Daniel said, standing. We're done pretending. She whipped toward him. Daniel, she's twisting things. I've seen the emails too, he said. The hotel bills. Everything. Richard tried to regain control. Everyone, please. This is private. Vivian, we should discuss this elsewhere. No, I said softly. This isn't a scene. This is the finale. I turned back to the guests. I spent 3 months gathering proof instead of screaming. 40 years being the good wife while he built another life. Tonight, he wanted to toast his rock while his mistress sat 20 feet away. My voice cracked. So I decided to give you the missing half. Carol came to my side. Arm around my shoulders. Emma folded into me, sobbing. Michael stepped between us and Richard. Dad, Emma choked out. How could you? Honey. It's complicated. Let me explain. It's not complicated, Michael said coldly. You cheated. You lied. To all of us. Richard looked at me. Desperate. Vivian. Please. 40 years. We can work through this. You should have thought about that before, I said. Before 18 months of hotels. Before telling her I was just your roommate. His face crumpled. You read that? Everything, I said. The band had stopped. Servers stood frozen. 200 people witnessing a marriage explode. Jennifer grabbed her purse. I'm leaving, she said. Good idea, Daniel said. Take your things from the house too. I'll have the papers ready Monday. She stared at him. You planned this together? You planned your affair together, he said. Fair is fair. She fled. Heels clicking on marble. Richard watched her go. Then looked at me. Viv. 40 years. 40 years, I repeated. And you threw them away for 18 months. The party dissolved after that. Guests found their coats. The band packed up. The cake sat untouched. 40 years of love, written in icing. Nobody felt like celebrating. I didn't ride home with Richard that night. I went with Emma and Carol. Left my husband standing alone under the chandelier he'd been so proud of. His rock had crumbled. Both of them. The house felt different that night. Same furniture. Same photos on the walls. Same floorboards that creaked in the hallway. But something had shifted. Emma made tea in the kitchen. Carol sat beside me on the couch. The couch where Richard and I had watched 1,000 movies together. Nobody spoke for a long time. Finally, Emma broke the silence. 3 months. You knew for 3 months? I needed proof, I said. I needed to be sure. She nodded slowly, wiped her eyes. I'm sorry you carried that alone. Around midnight, I heard Richard's key in the lock. Carol and Emma had gone to bed. I stayed on the couch. He stood in the doorway. Looking older than that morning. Vivian. Pack a bag, I said. You're not sleeping here tonight. Please. We need to talk. Pack a bag. He left 20 minutes later. The divorce took 11 months. My attorney, Patricia, was sharp. We have documented proof of a long-term affair, she said. He can settle fairly, or we let a judge handle it publicly. He settled. I kept the house. Got a fair share of his retirement. Alimony that acknowledged the decades I'd put my career aside so he could chase his. Jennifer left the firm. Mutual decision, people said. We all knew better. Daniel kept their house in Westport. Got the dog. He texted me once after his divorce finalized. Thank you for the truth. I wrote back, thank you for standing with me. We never spoke again. Didn't need to. The hardest part wasn't the paperwork. It was watching my children rebuild their understanding of family. Emma didn't speak to her father for 6 months. Michael answers his calls now, but there's distance. We thought you were the model, Emma told me one night. Proof that marriage could work. I feel stupid. You're not stupid, I said. You believed what you saw. For most of our marriage, it was real. What happened at the end doesn't erase everything. It just changes what we do now. She looked at me. Are you okay? Really? I thought about it. I'm angry, I said. Sad for time spent loving someone who didn't honor it. But I'm also free. Free. Strange word for a 63-year-old divorcee. But accurate. I started painting again. Set up an easel in the sunroom I'd always called the catch-all room. Took a trip to Italy with Carol. Stood in front of paintings I'd only seen in books. Rejoined my book club. Learned to cook for one without feeling pathetic. Even flirted badly with a man at the farmer's market once. Life continued. Different, but continuing. Richard sends holiday cards sometimes. Texts on what used to be our anniversary. I don't respond. That's his story to sit with. I have my own now. Some people think I was cruel. Public humiliation. Our children watching. Maybe I was. But I was quiet for 3 months. Dignified for 40 years. That night, I chose truth over silence. Justice over performance. Myself over his comfort. I'm not saying everyone should do what I did. Public scenes aren't for everyone. But I am saying this. You are not required to protect the reputation of someone who broke you. You are allowed to choose yourself. At 23, at 63, at any age. Last week, I walked past the beach where Richard proposed. Sun was setting. Water turning gold. I didn't feel sad. I felt grateful. Grateful I found out. Grateful I had the courage to act. Grateful my children, despite the pain, chose to understand. Grateful I chose freedom over comfortable lies. If you're listening to this story, wherever you are, I want you to know something. Your truth matters. Your dignity matters. You matter. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. Not a spouse. Not society. Not even your own fear. Sometimes the bravest thing isn't holding your family together. It's having the courage to let the broken parts fall. So you can finally see what's worth keeping. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for staying until the end. If this resonated with you, if you felt something, I'd be grateful if you'd hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications. Share this with someone who might need to hear it. And leave me a comment below. Tell me where you're watching from. Tell me your story. We're not alone in this. Not anymore.